Hey, hi guys. All right, so we're going to do a bonus message part 2. So you'll definitely want to have watched part 1 before you watch this one. It was such a long one, and I really wanted to focus on our Empress and whomever her other partner is, which turns out it's a King of Wands, although I misspoke and called them an Emperor in part 1. Now, usually if I do a part 1 and part 2, I would always do on the bonus general messages, I'm always doing a giveaway right now, a prize. And I don't have one next to me for me to grab. I keep them behind my backdrop. And so what I'm going to say is we're still going to do a giveaway, but it'll be a mystery prize. Okay. If you want to enter to win, just write the word mystery in the comment section. And tomorrow in the bonus general message, I will tell you guys both what the prize is that the person won and who the winner is. Okay. So it'll be a good prize though. It won't be something crummy, I promise. But yeah. Okay, now let's get into this. So we're going to just ask the questions kind of about her and that King of Wands, but I think we should also take a brief moment and just say what goes on with the person that we referred to as like the devil energy, the person who seems like it seemed like it was maybe a story of a false twin flame that she dealt with in part 1. But let's just see. We're going to do a quick peek at what happens with them, the devil energy, and then we'll focus just on her and that Emperor / King of Wands. So what happens with the person who was basically her ex that just couldn't seem to connect, even though they couldn't seem to let her go either. They were kind of hovering and spying on the Empress. We have a 4 of Wands in the reverse, so it doesn't look like they go out and find someone else that suits them better. They knew that she was their 10 of Cups. They did know that. They knew that all along. We have got the Temperance card in the reverse. And in part 1, we saw them kind of leaving things with not a very happy vibe, because we saw them in that energy flow of that 5 of Pentacles. And I said, there's going to be kind of like a cold spot that is left behind. And we've got a 10 of Cups in the reverse. Wow. The World card in the upright, though, and the 2 of Pentacles. You know what? At least that person who is in the devil energy, it appears that they may not wind up with anyone that they feel is their true 4 of Wands. And they might also not really end up with like a ultimately fulfilling, oh, I'm so satisfied situation in their lives as far as romance goes. But they will make changes in their life. They will. We saw them kind of like recognizing that they had learned as much as they could have with the Empress, because they wouldn't alter things enough to move toward her. They kept kind of insisting that they wanted her to kind of crawl to them and accept whatever limited like breadcrumbs they were willing to give to her. And I think because of that energy, they don't end up with her. And instead, it doesn't look like they get to end up with anyone, because it's not just an Empress that probably wouldn't have accepted breadcrumbs. It's probably a lot of people that are going to be like, nope, nope, nope. So they may basically sabotage multiple relationships because they keep pulling that stunt until they finally have that big breakthrough. And that's where they decide to change and do things differently. So somewhere along the line, they at least have a breakthrough, and they are aware of some things that maybe needed to shift and change. The only issue is with the 2 of Pentacles, they still juggle. Do they want to give? So first, I think it was like they weren't aware that it requires genuinely like giving to a connection in order to make something work. And I think if anyone said, well, you have to contribute if you want this to work, I think that they were in that mindset where, you don't tell me what to do, and that would make them hold back even more. I think that they've had a breakthrough that that's something that they'd been doing, but probably because they sabotage other connections after the Empress has already moved on with someone else. But they still are in a place where it's like, I'm not sure if I want to give. There's this juggling act. I feel like giving is something that's really tough for this person to do. And remember, in part 1, we saw them literally with the devil energy in the upright. So I think giving is just a real struggle for this person for whatever reason. Okay, we're not going to talk about them anymore. I just wondered what happened with them onward. If they chose not to ever make any changes, what would they basically yield? What would they bring into their world? And I think that's not a shock that if they never change their behavior, they're probably really going to struggle to find anyone who will accept the breadcrumbs that they want to give, because I don't think that that person gives. So now let's just talk about the Empress and her King of Wands, who I insisted on calling the Emperor all the way through part 1. Let's see. Now, I only read this deck in the upright because each card already has 2 meanings on it. It looks like most of these came out upright anyway. But so we have the Devil going to the Tower. Okay, so we begin by saying she gets over the Devil. I'm glad that we went ahead and talked about that X one last time, even in part 2, because obviously we pick up her storyline with her truly, utterly, and completely letting go of that person, so that she can go ahead and welcome in someone new. I don't exactly know why now is the time for her to like fully release them, but it's here and it's now, and she knows it, and she's got the fortitude to do it. And it takes a lot of strength, I think, to let go of someone who's, it's like, well, it's not working. They don't seem to want to come toward me. And what we saw in part 1 is she said, well, the reason I let go of that ex is because they didn't want to come toward me. They didn't offer me anything. So there was nothing for me to hold on to. So it wasn't so much she even let him go. I think that she loved him for a really long time. But I think with the Tower, it's like it really has crumbled. Maybe she feels differently about them. Maybe enough time has passed that the love she still held for them has fallen away. Maybe that's why they were so keen on like spying on her. So we actually have her, even though I only want to talk about her and the Emperor slash King of Wands person, that new relationship. It's interesting that we're seeing her make space for that new relationship. That's how we begin in part 2. We have a Queen of Coins going to the King of Coins. Okay, and we saw this as a struggle in the past. In part 1, we also saw that she was becoming that Queen of Pentacles. She was about ready to open up and give to someone. And what's interesting is that ex who was in the Devil energy, she had referred to them as the King of Pentacles in the reverse. They never gave to me. Well, she's ready to genuinely connect with someone who she'll give to, and they will give to her in return. So very beautiful energy. She's trading the memories of that person who is trapped in the Devil energy. She's clearing out those memories and making space for this incredible union, this King and Queen vibe. Next to that, we've got a 5 of Swords going to the 6 of Swords. She's letting go of fears also. Like, I think meeting this other person, this King of Wands character, this Emperor character, I think that our Empress she's looking at it as, I really want a partner that I can be, like I can trust that they would want to build with me and I want to build with them. That's what I would love to have. And that's where she's at. She's letting go of fears and beliefs that maybe that doesn't exist. Maybe I'll never fall in love. No, she's aware that it's out there. We go from the 7 of Wands to the 8 of Wands. She is genuinely, and I think whoever it is that she meets, that King of Wands character, that Emperor character, I think they might have gone through something so similar. You notice how these two are holding hands and like escaping and able to communicate and talk about things. I think that they have a lot in common. I think that it's like, I had a terrible relationship with someone who just, I don't know why, they just didn't want to give to me. They didn't show up for me. They didn't ever like hold my hand and make me feel like I would be safe with them, and also give me a chance to like be a warm haven for them. They didn't do that with me, but this person wants to do that with her. This person is like, man, I will. Oh, there's this wonderful song. One of the most emotional songs for me anyway, by Tom Waits. I'll Never Let Go of Your Hand. That's what's in my mind right now. It's like such a fabulous card to connect with that particular song. It's so I don't know, it's such a fabulous romance song. But that's what this is. That's the quality of relationship an Empress has always wanted, is someone where it's like, no matter how tough it gets, I can face anything as long as we're holding hands. We can talk about stuff, we can plan stuff, we can go through life's ups and downs, and we're together, in this sense of union. Very, very nice. She never had that with the ex, is what we saw. They did the exact reverse. They stayed away from her. She said there aren't really obstacles. We could have been in union at any point in time, and they intentionally stayed away from her. That's what she's not going to have anymore. We go to the Eight of Swords over to the Nine of Swords. I feel like these two might almost immediately. So our Empress and this new King of Wands, I feel like they might immediately actually face something really dramatic in their early phases of dating. Something where it's like, oh my God, I cannot even believe this is, somebody, maybe, heck, maybe it's something like catastrophic. I mean, heaven forbid, but it could be something really stressful, a disaster of sorts. One person or the other is in like a difficult situation when they meet. I mean, maybe they meet under unusual circumstances where one of them kind of protects the other. It could be something like that, where it's like, oh my God, it's so stressful. And that is their original meeting space. They might meet each other in a time frame of great stress, and they have a chance to realize that, wow, you calmed me, or you were there for me. I don't even know you, but you're there for me more than my ex ever was. Maybe they both feel that way. We have the Chariot going to the Strength card. I'm telling you, this is just what we asked for. This is amazing. This is exactly what our Empress has wanted. Is somebody, I do kind of feel like the Empress is either rescued, or she gives rescue to someone, especially with the Chariot and then the Strength card. There's something here about, I almost want to say that there's like a fleeing, or there's an escape, or there's a, someone gives somebody a ride because their car is broken down, or something here where an individual gets to kind of like stand up, and what they display, that protective energy vibe, is just, it sets a tone where she goes, damn, now that feels amazing. That feels like someone that I can't wait to talk to them again. I can't wait. They could be a Leo. We did see them as a King of Wands, even though I kept wanting to call them an Emperor. But the Emperor would have been Aries, and King of Wands would have been, fire sign in general. So I feel like she's headed for a fire sign. Someone who, I don't know, maybe this person has skills. It doesn't matter what gender they are, but maybe they are like, I see this person sitting here with the sign of Leo on their armor. And even though they're calm and peaceful, they look like a warrior. So maybe whomever her mate is a warrior. Maybe the Empress wants someone who protects her and stands beside her. And, that might be her first interaction with them, is that, wow, they just protected me from, whatever the disaster was. They could be military, ex-military, police, fire, anything along those lines, where they wear, I mean, this looks like wearing a uniform, right? It looks like armor. So that's the only reason I suggest that. But it's interesting, because I feel like this is exactly what she asked for. This is exactly the person she asked for. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is amazing. They are piecing together her broken heart. The Five of Cups going to the Six of Cups. This is a new soulmate union. I think that her interaction with that ex of hers, this, to me, this water vessel or decanter, you notice that it was fractured, right? I feel like, I'm going to say that the ex of hers did break something. Broke her heart, broke her trust, broke something about the way she felt about unions and relationships. And this person, this new King of Wands character, is completely piecing her broken heart back together. This is so beautiful. This is like, I'm going to say an Empress wanted a protector and a hero and someone that she could actually believe would be beside her. I think is like the really big message here. this is the quality of person that she asked for. I'm not even sure if her soul knew that that was precisely what she was asking for, but that's what she's receiving. And I gotta say, given how much we saw about the person of, you know, her ex, and how they actually always stayed away from her, I can understand how she might have now wanted someone who would really be there. Because this is total opposite. I mean, this person is like night and day difference from who she had as an ex. And it's interesting because we had that Six of Cups in the reverse for the ex, and this is that Six of Cups upright. Well, granted, I would only read it upright, but this goes from the Five of Cups, which is deep disappointment and broken dreams, to a soulmate who actually comes in and stands beside her and actually pieces that back together. That's pretty awesome. Tell me, we never do this, and I think we need to. Let's talk about who is that King of Wands. Let's talk about who they are. What's their backstory? Because I mean, this person's coming in like, I like this person for her a lot. She likes this person, you know, like I'm always rooting for my characters to get their lessons and to get, you know, something really marvelous in their life. So Seven of Pentacles, look at this, the Devil in the reverse, and the Two of Pentacles. You know what? This is someone who's gone down their own road of difficulty. So this new amazing person, this King of Wands, Emperor individual that our Empress is going to end up with, they are not toxic. The Devil is in the reverse, but it doesn't mean that they didn't have to overcome difficult things. Or maybe this represents their own ex who was the devil, and they've let go of that, you know, the toxicity. This is someone who's had enough time to heal. This is somebody who has very deep roots. It could be really deeply rooted to family. They may have, I don't know why I'm going to say this, but they may have like a strong background in like another country. Like maybe they have ethnic roots in some other culture, or, you know, whatever, some other province or state or someplace far away. And they're the only person that lives in the region that they live in, but they may have a lot of extended family in another location. And they may have, you know, for as rooted as they are and connected to like a bigger family group, they also still have the courage to be a really independent person, but they may be very family oriented, but also an independent spirit. So that's an interesting vibe to see for them, right? And the fact that maybe they left something behind in order to set themselves apart, because they went through a difficult phase. They went through a tough relationship. They ended that. They got beyond it. You know, it could be because of that. Because here with this Two of Pentacles, I feel like this person is very much in balance, in harmony, but I also feel like they live kind of like two versions of life. Like this person could be very dedicated, very diligent in some ways, but they could also have a really lighthearted, fun, playful manner. Or they have like, you know, this could be somebody who they're an engineer by day, or military or something, but then they have a hobby where it's like I'm trying to think of something, like they love to paint whatever, like model cars, or they have like a funny like passion for collecting some particular kind of toy. You know, they've got a Beanie Baby collection, but the rest of them is like all, you know, super intense, and you just wouldn't have expected that this person like knows everything there is to know about whatever, dinosaurs or Beanie Babies, or, you know, whatever. I just feel like they have this interesting not like hidden things about them, but they can function at a really high level, really professional level, and then they also have like, they're in touch with their little kid inside of them. I feel like this person, probably the reason they have good, strong, deep roots is also maybe they have a nice connection to family members, you know, ups and downs, but not like deep scars. It doesn't look like. We've got this Knight of Wands in the reverse. You know, this person does not take rapid, insane action where they're just like, oh, I think I'll just randomly do this because I'm, you know, crazy passionate. This King of Wands, even though King of Wands can be super passionate, super loving, they are possibly not at all the kind of person that would be like, they don't have any lines, they don't have any particular game, they may not be really flirty, they may just be super straightforward. Like, you know, if they want to talk to you, it's because they're interested. but they might not be like, hey, I lost my number, can I borrow yours? They may not have any of that sleazeball cheeseball, vibe. So I shouldn't call it sleazeball. Like, actually, I always thought that was a funny pickup line myself. But cheeseball for sure. But I don't think this person does anything like that. Like, I'm not knocking the lines. Hey, everybody to each their own, right? But this is not someone who is just out on the prowl. This is somebody who is like, if they're interested, they're genuinely going to be interested. But they aren't interested in just everybody, which is important because an Empress wouldn't probably be down with that. We have a Three of Wands. This is someone who, whether they ended up with an Empress or whether they ended up solo, whatever it is, this person has plans for their life. Their life is not determined by whether or not they have a partner beside them. This person basically has more in their lives that, they have interests, they have hobbies, they have things that they do. They basically are satisfied with their life, and they're also, they look forward to things. They make plans. They have things to talk about, interests. This is somebody who is forward leaning in their lives. We have a Page of Swords in the reverse. This person is not a spy. And look at this. We've got a King of Wands. So we've been talking about them all along like a King of Wands. Check out the big old lion back there. I'm telling you, the lions are pretty prominent in this. I feel like, I don't know, I want to say like, the lion-hearted. I feel like this, I still keep wanting to say that this person may have some kind of powerful, like, military background or something along those lines. Or let me put it this way, it doesn't have to be that, but they just may be a very courageous person, very strong and settled, and they know who they are. They don't do anything on the sly. Such different energy than what her ex was. Nothing at all like her ex. The ex was spying all the time. This person is not. They're not out doing that. This person is very straightforward. So all I'm going to say is they are everything that her ex was not. Him, her, doesn't matter. I've said her, because we saw a card of an Empress. But remember, I am a fictional storyteller. You can take this however you want. Whatever you hear in a story, that is your interpretation that you are free to have. And that is the awesome thing about storytelling and art, is we all get different, thoughts. I want to ask one last question before we close this out, which is simply, anything to talk about between her and this new person? Like, what is we've already seen this looking freaking fabulous, but let's just see, is there any last message here? And then we'll wrap this up. We have got the Awakening in the reverse. We got the Sun in the upright. I really feel like she already knew that this person was out there for her. When she knew that the ex didn't come forward for her, she already had accepted, even if I still love them, I know that they couldn't have stayed away from me if they had loved me, which means this isn't my relationship. She might have still waited and waited and waited, because in the part one, we saw that she had waited. We saw that Four of Swords, but she had waited and waited in case they were going to step up, but they never did. And I think she knew right out of the gate that that wasn't really her person. Her person was somewhere elsewhere. So I think the fact that there isn't really a big change, and there isn't a reconciliation, and there isn't an awakening, it's like, yeah, but I'm thinking somewhere deep down, she kind of, if she's honest, she would know there wasn't ever going to be that change, and that she was always on the path to meet this person. Here we go again with Leo energy. We've got this Sun card. We've got this happiness. 9 of Coins in the upright. We've got the King of Swords in the reverse, and we've got the High Priestess in the upright. All I can say is, I feel like right from the beginning, she's known that as soon as she really identifies as single and stops thinking about the ex, that's when she meets this new person. That happiness, she gets to have that happiness with that new amazing person. The second she really identifies, I am single, that ex of mine is not coming back in. That ex of mine is somewhere deep down, I've always kind of known they were not going to come back in. But I feel like it just had to, what I want to say? I think she was giving them time. The reason maybe she, was wounded and, took some time before she was meeting this new person is because she was secretly waiting to say, but what if my ex did want to step up? If they did, get it in their heads that they were suddenly going to come driving all night to come get me, and they were finally really going to be present with me. I feel like she waited to see, do they want that? Because I think she probably even knew that they've been out there staring at her, spying on her. And I think she waited and waited and waited and thought, any day now they're going to reach out, any day now. But they just never did. And I think finally she's like, secretly, I think I always knew that they wouldn't. I think I've always known that. And as she gets to that mindset and she goes, I think I'm ready for the other person. And I think I've always known it was going to be somebody else for me. And it's like, bam, here comes that King of Wands. All I can say is we got a ton of fire, 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 fire. Every time we talk about the new person, it was all fire. So I'm just going to say warm. Where this person was cold, her ex was cold, this person is warm. I don't mean that they have to be a fire sign. But I'm going to close this out and leave it here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'm really glad I did part 2 on this. This is a really fun one. And or at least I thought this had some really nice vibes. I love the sound of this new person for that Empress. So, all right, signing off, you guys. Thanks for being with me. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing. Thank you so much for being a part of my channel and bringing your awesome energy here. All right, take care. Bye.